Everyone, happy Friday and welcome to my channel, Energy Medicine with Monica Marzek. I'm Monica and I offer free holistic care. Well, I don't really like to say that. It's consciousness-based medicine through the modality of BodyTalk, where we observe what's ready to be shifted within the whole, and you take what you need and leave the rest, leaving way for a healthier expression within your whole body mind complex. Now, in today's work, we're going to do things. I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I felt that the session was going towards family repair. So I didn't quite know which way to go. And so I listened to my intuition, and I'm going to read an excerpt from Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. If you do not have this book, please, I would recommend. It's a great read. I have no affiliation. I'm not being sponsored by him, but I do love his stuff. And I opened up the page, and this is where we're going for. I opened up to page 273, and this is where we're going for today's work. So I'm going to open up this session with a quote from him. Now, if you're listening to this work or you stumbled upon my channel, this is experiential work. It's work. This is a session to be experienced. So if you have your headphones in, take a quiet moment, lay down or relax in a chair or be in someplace quiet. So not while you're doing the dishes or doing an activity. So you give yourself a chance to feel the shifts that and the energy move that are ready to be shifted. So this is a quote, and this is what we're anchoring today's work into. Living things die, after all, without attention. Life is indistinguishable from effortful maintenance. Now we're going to bring this into how do you tend to, or how do you give attention to, or in what ways, or perhaps in what ways do you avoid giving attention to your relationships with yourself, if you're a parent, your relationships with your children, if you're a child, perhaps even an adult child here, and you're dealing, so an adult child with obviously the parent, which is an adult, that dynamic changes. How do you relate to and attend to your relationships in your life? So we're dealing with multifaceted or several complex relationships here. So parent-child relationships, so parent to child, adult child to parent, and parent to the adult child. Also, for lovers, so spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, intimate relationships is another one. How do you maintain that relationship? Is it maintained in trust, respect, openness, responsibility, honesty? Or has silence gotten in the way to keep the peace, and resentment and perhaps love has turned into hatred? Or expectations and blame have gotten in the way to actually seeing the person in front of you as they are? So we're going to be taking a look at, you can bring to, I'm going to linking all of this to, I'm looking at the world and the world's prefrontal cortex. So you can, for yourself, start to bring up or think about relationships with your parents. Um, Now, we're not going into blame. Now, we're not expecting perfection here. This is not about assigning blame to someone or something. It's seeing the person as they are, without those filters. So we're going to start with dumping and anchor it to the heart to individuate, dumping resentment, hatred, expectations, and blame from those energetic connections to all of the people closest to you, that so family, so parents and children, siblings, extended family, and then it's going out too far. So we're really keeping this within the family matrix. And you can see how complex, and when all of this blame and resentment and expectations gets involved in these energetic connections to these people, it gets really convoluted very quickly. Miscommunication happens so fast. You're hearing only the things that you want to hear without taking a step back and having insight to yourself and hearing the person and where they're coming from. Perhaps there's a shutting down because old events are in the way, blocking that heart connection. Maybe there's some active memory, maybe some childhood trauma or things that happened from childhood haven't been resolved, haven't been talked about, and there's this big avoidance and sweeping things under the carpet to keep the peace, which is does not keep things peaceful at all. It kind of keeps a status quo, and the truth doesn't have a chance to come out in a way that in a way that um, is respectful to yourself and to the other. As sometimes difficult conversations need to be had, stirring the pot a little bit. And, there's obviously, since it's two, if the other person's not open to hearing, well, then things may fall on deaf ears. But we're not here to deal with the other. We're here to shift things for ourselves. And that shift within you ripples out and changes things um, energetically within your life. It just ripples out and affects the whole. So, it's like that. I think it was Gandhi says, be the change that you want to see. So that really brings it back to being responsible for yourself, your feelings, your emotions, saying the things that need to be expressed in a way that's not manipulative or doesn't have a mask on or laden with expectation or blame. So we're dumping this blame and hatred and expectations and resentment out of this heart field. This is the heart is the first thing that goes out. So it has a bioenergetic resonance that goes out. I think Heart Math said it's about 3 or 4 feet. So when you walk into the room, the first thing that walks in, or the first thing that experiences the world, is your heart, this energetic field, this heart connection. And if the heart is closed down with all of this resentment and expectations and blame and things that went wrong and miscommunication, well, then this energy goes really small, and armoring, this body armoring or defensiveness sits over the heart. So we're opening this up, dumping these active memories from this whole chest plate, opening up the heart, softening it to yourself first. Right? So, not looking at yourself with blame or self judgment, but being honest about yourself and taking a look at the things that need to be improved upon or attended to, or those things that you've been avoiding about taking responsibility for. Perhaps it's that thing that you said towards yourself or someone else, or maybe it's simply cleaning up your environment. All of those things, those little niggly things that you pass off for the next day, they just get piled and piled and piled until you can't ignore them anymore. So we're removing this from the energetic field of the heart and the auric fields of the heart. We're going to anchor it to the heart to individuate. So when 2-year-olds say no, and the individuation process is growing up, it's simply moving out of childish tendencies. So not childlike. Having the curiosity of a child is amazing. I would highly encourage a development or a relationship to that childlike nature within yourself, where life becomes an adventure and you look at things with fresh eyes or curiosity. So that's the dumping assumptions. You get to look at things with fresh eyes. I would highly encourage that. But what we're shifting here is childishness, right? So being petty or childish. So that individuation process is growing up. We're dumping childishness and growing up here in this process. So I'm going to anchor that to the heart, dumping the resentment, hatred, expectations, and blame from the heart field and those connections to your family members, the ones closest to you, so children, spouses, intimate relationships, and then we can go out to siblings. There we go. Going to link this up into your prefrontal cortex so your prefrontal cortex can go ahead and scan wherever in your body mind there's something that you've been avoiding. And link this up into the third eye for insight. The third eye feels very crusty. Now, the third eye is responsible for insight and intimacy. When you say you have an intimate relationship, it's actually into myself I see. Oh, there's a big shift, lots of energy moving there. Into myself I see, having insight. So, is the person mirroring something that you need to see about yourself? Taking responsibility for if you get triggered by something? Are you taking responsibility for your triggers? Are you looking at those moments as a moment to have curiosity and say what's really happening here, what am I really triggered by, what's something that's bothering me? And then you can do an exercise. A great one is self-authoring. You can just go ahead and write and refine and write and just get it all out. Perhaps you can reach out to your practitioner and say, look, I'm really stuck here. I can't seem to see what's happening. I'm really bothered by this. Or have someone actively listen to you. Active listening is great. You seem to sort out your own problems when someone's not trying to offer advice or fix something, but they just actively listen. And what ends up happening is you speak yourself into your own awareness. So those are some great ways to help yourself. And if you're still stuck, then go ahead and find a practitioner that can help you through this. So we're going ahead and we've got to do a repair to the third eye. It's full of misconception here. So a big one that's coming up is not understanding what responsibility is and then saying I don't want to take responsibility because that means it's my fault. And it's not about fault. Responsibility is something very, very different. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. That could be a whole other session or topic. And if you're curious about that, reach out and I'd be happy to walk you through. But we're going to bring in a differentiation here. So to as a Seedry, to start to so that the third eye can start to move and have that healthy insight where you're actually taking a moment for self-reflection and then reaching out for help if it's needed, if extra support is needed. So I'm going to bring in the small intestines, the energy of the gut brain, to run a differentiation between responsibility and fault. There we go. We're linking this back. All of this is going back to the heart and that heart consciousness. And it's not giving me any details. It's just saying heart consciousness. Okay, I'm going to tap this in here. So we tap the head to wake up the brain. So the brain uh, downloads these new healthy formulas. The heart remembers. We wake up the heart brain, and then we wake up the gut brain for alchemy, for synthesis. We wake up that gut. I'm tapping over my gut quite a bit, so I've got to wake up this intuitive brain to help digest this session. Thank you so much. You can join me every Friday live if you want to hear the backstory. We get on together as a group. Thank you for those group members who join me weekly. It's so great to have you on with me personally. Please like, share, and subscribe if you found value. I'd love to share this channel to grow it and get healing out to the world. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all next week.